I really don't know who needs to hear this, but I really got to say this, right? Affidavits, putting the public on notice, um, getting a birth certificate authenticated has nothing to do with status correction. Because the thing what people fail to realize is, right, all of those processes pretty much frivolous, right? In the sense that it doesn't carry any weight. Anytime the police come in contact with you, not one time do they say, hey, let me look through public records to see if he wrote any affidavits. Because why would an affidavit that you filed inside the county or the court matters to a police officer who just strictly doing his day-to-day rounds and find someone who say, hey, y'all can't arrest me, I'm on a do not detain list, especially when they pull you over and you give them a regular name, like the name that you was born with. And when it comes back, like your name and date of birth is all tied to a contract, and you might got driver's license in the state, you might got state IDs in the state. So people are using these processes but not understanding or putting it in context. Name one time when you went to court where a judge ever said, hey, let me check out your birth certificate. Name a time where a person authenticated their birth certificate and now it's been a major change. It doesn't work like that. The reason why I came out with the concept that everybody needs to cancel contracts is because that's what they used against you primarily. That's how they able to operate and file criminal charges on you. That's how they able to bond, like not bond over, but let's just say if you got a warrant for your arrest, they put it under the state ID or the driver's license, right? So the same thing and vice versa. So I want people to understand that these notices that is being filed with the court has nothing to do with status correction, because technically your status haven't changed until it changed. Now, putting people on notice, I'm not knocking it, right? I also want to explain, right? I'm not knocking people who already do it, but I'm gonna say this: it doesn't help or hurt the situation. Meaning you still can do it, but it doesn't do anything different to the situation. Because when you come across police, you still got these alleged contracts with them. And not only do you still got these alleged contract with them, you thinking that what you filed to the Secretary of State, the White House, whoever you send these forms to, you thinking they just supposed to see the status, what you claiming, and take that as face value. But that never been the case. That never been the case for them to look at an affidavit and say, yeah, you're right, you a non-citizen national, so we got to let you go. It don't work like that. So the presumption is you got contracts with the state that need to get canceled. The second aspect of it is if you ever find yourself in a like you in a lot of trouble and you got to fight your case, you're responsible for fighting your case yourself. You get what I'm saying? You're responsible for fighting the case yourself. So the judge not looking like, oh, well, he filed an affidavit. An affidavit is just an affidavit of truth, but it's your truth. It doesn't have anything to do with law, neither does it reason with law. So that's why there's a big separation with that. And I had plenty of people, right, they'll go around and they'll say, man, I got my status corrected. I'm a new man. I'm really free. And then they find themselves locked up and they're like, man, what did I do wrong? You didn't cancel contracts with the state. You didn't receive a passport as a non-citizen national. You didn't correct your name that was on your old file just so it won't tri-merge or crossover with your new file. And then on top of that, most people not representing themselves. Most people don't understand how to represent themselves in a criminal case. Because that's one of the most important things. Having knowledge to defend yourself if it's needed. So if you put yourself in a position where you've been arrested or something happened or the right to travel failed or your car gets towed or, anything like that, you have to be prepared to fight them in court. And so a lot of arguments that I see them putting up with the court or what they put up with the judge is frivolous. It really don't carry that much weight. So if you guys ever want to change our status, understand these three principles. You need to cancel contracts and presume contracts that you have with the state, meaning driver's license, state ID, registration, voter's registration, and etc. And another thing that you want to do is get your passport as a non-citizen national that's actually on the do not detain list. The third thing that you really have to prepare for, and what most people is scared and avoiding, is representing yourself. Because now you can put yourself in a position where it's tight, where you're stuck, but you ain't represent yourself, so that's gonna hurt you in the long run. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be prepared for stuff like this. Y'all have to be prepared for fights. You got to be prepared to put yourself in a position where even if they arrest you, you always have your defense. You always have a way of getting yourself out of certain situations. You always can protect yourself in those courtrooms instead of being confused about what's really going on. So make sure that you understand exactly what you're signing up for, being a non-citizen national. And I want you guys to understand that there is risk when it comes to correcting your status. Remember, you was born with a social, you wasn't born without one. So the burden of proof of that you are a national weighs heavy on you, because that is something that most people can't prove. And that's why it's so much important to understand how to go about correcting your status. It's so important to understand how to go about canceling contracts with the state. It's so much important to know about how to properly file a motion if you represent yourself, how to properly address the court when you represent yourself, how to properly file when you represent yourself. You get what I'm saying? Do you want to look like a fool to the judge, or you want to look like a wise man or woman, right? Wise man or woman, right? So you got to understand that it's levels to this, the steps. I'm out.